With this conversion, it's really not too bad. It's really good, honestly. Bruh. So hello gamers, recently Phantom Forces got an update which actually changed some of the AKs and made them different guns when you use specific attachments. Also, pretty much I have a very special setup that makes the AK-47 a different gun. So today we're going to be looking at some of the secret AKs in Phantom Forces, but yeah, let's get into it. So first off, we have the AK-74. Now if you use collapsible stock or remove stock, it becomes, or I guess only retract stock, that's weird, it becomes the AKS74. So basically, collapsible stock doesn't actually have any stat changes at all, I don't think, for some reason, but it does make it the AKS74 because in real life the AKS74 is basically just an AK-74, but basically like a lightweight version, I guess. So if you retract the stock, which it doesn't show, or you use the collapsible stock, it becomes the AK-74, which is weird. It just doesn't change any of the stats. It's literally exactly the same gun, but retracted stock increases your recoil. However, it makes your aim, walk speed, and recovery speed better, but I don't know why remove stock doesn't change it. I thought it did because retract and remove stock actually have exactly the same stats, but I mean, it does look very cool. I'm not gonna lie, that actually looks kind of sick. Retracted stock is just worse because it just gets in the way of your vision. Like, it just looks kind of ugly, but I mean, in this case, it looks pretty cool. I feel like retracted stock should have some kind of an advantage. Maybe you can actually fold the stock up again and actually use it like it is before. Maybe have like a kind of like a thing where you can actually turn off and on upsides and downsides. Like if you're going an LRC, you can make it like a little bit better, and if you're going CQC, you can retract the stock again. Man, that would be so cool. They should do the same thing for lasers and flashlights. Like lasers and flashlights, make them able to turn off, man. You can do that in what's it called, Black Hawk Rescue Mission 5. You turn off the laser and you get worse hip fire accuracy, but people can see your laser in that game, so it is pretty helpful to turn it off. Like, that's actually so cool. Other than that, it's pretty statistically similar to the default gun. It's the AK-74, but it's not called the AKS-74. It's pretty cool. Our next gun is the Krinkov, which actually is the AKS-74U. That's not a secret anymore. It used to be called the Krinkov, but it is an AKS-74U, as I have said in previous videos. However, 9x19 makes it the AKV, the AK5, I guess. I don't know. Either way, it actually has a different reload animation now, which looks pretty nice, honestly. If you didn't know, 9mm the Krinkov is actually really solid. It increases your 3-hit kill range. You can no longer 2-hit kill head, but the biggest thing about it is that it has no recoil at all, and now it has its own reload animation, so it is kind of different, and it does have its own like actual name. In the kill feed, it will say you were killing people with the AKV, which is really cool because most people are probably gonna be like, what are you using, dude? And honestly, I'm kind of a fan of this reload animation. I think the old one was borrowed from a different gun. No, it wasn't the Bison. What gun was it? It was the PPSH, I think. Yeah, it was the PPSH. It was borrowed from the PPSH. It's really funny because I'm just walking around with the flag killing people. This is a pretty good strategy because people can see you through walls. However, you get bonus points for killing people when you have the flag, but I mean, if you capture the flag, you get 500, so it doesn't really matter. This conversion is actually really good. I love how it has its own name now. It feels pretty nice because like before it's like the Krinkov. Really? How you gotta call it the Krinkov? It's not really called the Krinkov. It's called the AKS74. And now it's the AKV, and the last one is 762, which is called the AKMSU, which actually has an AK reload now. It's very loud, so sorry about your eardrums. Might change around my audio settings later and make like my in-game volume a little bit quieter because nobody really complains about it, but I feel like in a lot of cases it's really loud. Wait, did they change it? It doesn't feel as fast RPM. Let me check in a second. I can't see them nerfing it. I mean, that's a lot of recoil. Let's be real, this gun was very easy to pull down before. Now it has its own name, but I will look at stats and make sure they didn't change it. I really hope they didn't. I don't feel like they would. I really haven't seen anybody complaining about this conversion. Personally, I was like, this gun is pretty good. It still has 785 RPM, which it doesn't feel like it has that much. I really want them to change the sound effect because it's literally louder than any other 7.62x39 or even 7.62x51s for no reason. Like, why? Out of all the AKs to be loud, why this one? I think it can kill with one head, one limb. Like, it does 43.5 damage CQC. It doesn't have the best ranges or anything, but like, it's really good. 9mm is also cool. I didn't know 9mm was actually cool in this gun, but it is cool that it is the AKMSU or whatever. What is it again? AKMSU, yeah. Ooh, it kind of beams people at range, really. Like, you would think it wouldn't beam people as hard as it does. It's pretty good at range. I don't know. It doesn't really feel like it needs a nerf because it's not like the most broken abused gun in the game. I don't really see people using the Krinkov or AKS74U. I will show you a clip for this one because the first time I ever used it, I actually popped off. Roll the clip, Strider. basically it is the Draco. If you didn't know what the Draco is, it's basically a 7.62 by 39mm AK pistol, and this is kind of what it looks like. It's basically an AK-47 with a shorter barrel and a remove stock. And this is it. It's the short barrel and remove stock on the AK-47, which is weird. I actually am using folding grip still, which makes no sense. I should be using stubby, but this gun, despite it having more recoil than default, worse damage ranges, and like no recoil control at all because no compensator, it is really good. I really like the handling of it now, and it actually feels super good. I'm not going to say it's actually like a good gun, but I was really enjoying it. As you could see from that clip, I kind of popped off with it. I don't know why, because like the recoil control, it's pretty good, actually. Kind of falls off at range. You need a compensator, man. I usually run folding on the AK-47, but like if you're not going to be running a compensator, you kind of need to be running stubby grip. Compensator reduces horizontal recoil by a ton, and stubby grip doesn't reduce recoil by as much, but it still does. And the thing is, folding grip doesn't reduce recoil, so this actually has worse recoil than the default AK-47, but better handling, I guess. And it's the Draco. It looks cool. I want to see this in game. If you really wanted to go full Draco mode, you could take off the grip altogether and also use no sight. I am using hollow points, and I do recommend hollow point because gotta get the good damage, dude. And CQC, this is an actual monster. And the handling upgrade is actually a lot better than I thought it would be. Maybe it's just placebo, but it feels a lot better. The walk speed, the aiming speed, it just feels so good to use this. Not the most accurate gun or anything, but it goes off. Somebody recommended this exact setup actually, but without Kosaku sight and on the AKM, and I was like, this thing sucks, because hollow point on the AKM kind of sucks. However, on the AK-47, it's a very good until they hopefully nerf it. But yeah, at the moment, this thing just goes insane. Absolutely bonkers, man. Another secret AK is, of course, the gun known as the Type 58. This is a setup that I don't really use. It has folding grip for some reason, because this gun has no camera recoil. It does have a new sound effect in the test place, which is cool. But yeah, the Type 58 is the Type 88 with 7.62. It's another secret gun. You have to put on the conversion to make it that, and it's really cool. Like, it basically just makes the gun good. So I have made an amazing discovery. I was going to talk about STGN, and as you can see, the grandfather of all assault rifles. It wasn't the first, but it was the first to define the category. Category is not spelled like that. It doesn't have two A's. Keep in mind, this gun has been in the game for like a year or something, and it still has that typo, unless they just changed it. Like, why does it have that typo? Funny. The STG, you could basically say is the first AK, because like every single gun was based off of it, but it does have a secret conversion known as STG, and I know this is a German gun, not a Russian gun. Every AK is based off of this gun, so I'm gonna count it. I feel like this basically counts, whatever. Very swage conversion, 60 rounds, pretty fast reload time. They buffed the penetration of it recently. 600 RPM, which isn't the greatest. That's like AK-47 RPM, but it just doesn't do the damage, but it has no recoil and 60 rounds, so it's really good. Definitely gonna get outperformed by like AK-47 CQC, but at range it might outperform that, even though it's a 5-shot at range. But I think it has a torso multi, so it might be able to 4-shot torso at range, but maybe not. But headshots can make it a 4-shot, and you can hit headshots. Believe me, you can hit headshots. This gun is so accurate, man. I really like it. With this conversion, it's really not too bad. It's really good, honestly. Bro. An AK sniper rifle, I guess, is the SVDS, and if you put on full stock, you get something called the SVD. Full stock in PSO1M2, and you have the full SVD sniper rifle from most games. So most games don't have the SVDS, they have the SVD, which is basically the non-paratrooper variant of this. And I'm gonna be real, this attachment setup kind of sucks. It's not really good. It just has like awful handling and walk speed and stuff, and there's really no upside to using it, but it's pretty cool to have something like this in the game, even if it's not too good. There is a couple of ones that I did forget. It's the AKM with a few conversions. Keep in mind, this gun actually got a nerf pretty recently. I'm gonna miss this gun being good because it's just not that good anymore. But if you put on slugs and buckshot, you do get VPO 209 both times, surprisingly. Both of these conversions are not too good anymore because slugs got a nerf, but it's pretty interesting to have them in the game. Easy 2-shots, but when you think about it, there is a AK that can 2-shot to the body, and it's called the AK-47 with hollow point. The AK-47 with hollow point doesn't have this recoil. A weird one though is the RPK with slugs and buckshot does not actually change the name of the gun, but you do have 15 rounds. Quite a bit of RPM. Wow, okay. And it has 10 pellets now, but only does 20 damage. If you want to count the Mosin, it also has 410, which makes it the Frolovka and the Frolobrez. But yeah, I think that is every single secret AK in Phantom Forces. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and sub. Also, I forgot about Bars Barrel, but that's pretty cool. AK-109 and AK-107. Talks about those in so many different videos. I even have a full ranking the Bars Barrel video in Phantom Forces. Make sure to watch that. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.